Does the famed Blood and Ice Cream trilogy go out with a bang or a whimper? You're watching Beyond the Trailer's review of The World's End.
What do you recommend?
Beer.
We'll have 5 of those, please. 4 of those, and a tap water.
What? Look who it is.
Wow, long time.
Well, it's weird, isn't it? You come back and everything's sort of different.
It's not us that's changed. It's the town.
What are you doing?
It's all right. I'm not trying to have sex with you.
There's something I need to tell you right now. Unless you do want to have sex, in which case I'll tell you afterwards.
Tell me right now.
Just like Swingers launched the careers of Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau seemingly overnight, Shaun of the Dead was similarly embraced by audiences and Hollywood alike. Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright became household names, well, at least in the houses of cinephiles, and some people could probably recognize Nick Frost on the street as well. Yes, just as writer-director Richard Curtis became the poster boy for British romantic comedies, Wright, Frost, and Pegg became the poster boys for British fanboy entertainment. Again, all because of one movie. But just as Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau stumbled in their first big steps after Swingers, so has this trio. Outside of the Blood and Ice Cream trilogy, Wright has only directed one other movie, colossal flop Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, a film that cost $60 million to make yet only grossed $47 million worldwide. Sure, he signed on to direct Ant-Man, but it's set to come out in 2015, about a decade after he signed on. Pegg has clearly been the most successful of the group, landing supporting roles in both the Star Trek and Mission Impossible franchises. And he's even landed a few lead roles. Pretty good, even if the box office results were pretty bad. Nick Frost has had the hardest time crossing over into Hollywood, his biggest picture once again opposite Pegg in Paul. But he was one of the dwarves in Snow White and the Huntsman. Will he be able to continue to find work now that the Blood and Ice Cream trilogy is over? That largely depends on what kind of cultural impact the film has. Hot Fuzz made almost 3 times the money that Shaun of the Dead did worldwide, but here in the United States it made just about 2/3 of Shaun's total haul. So can Pegg and his real-life friends reclaim their former glory, just as Pegg's character and his fictional friends hope to do in The World's End? Or is this the beginning of the end of this team's career? I really liked Shaun of the Dead, but I didn't really enjoy Hot Fuzz. So when I was invited to go and see The World's End, I was a little reluctant to go. But I'm so glad I did, because it's a really fun movie. Is it as good as Shaun of the Dead? At first, when I was starting to write this review up, my notes for it, I was like, oh, it's almost as good, it's almost there. But I actually have to say that I feel, for one very big reason, it falls short. And that's because, Shaun of the Dead was a zombie movie. But with The World's End, the beginning of this film, the non-genre element, it starts out almost like, I mentioned Richard Curtis at the beginning of this, the intro to this review, and it's almost like a Richard Curtis movie. And it's so well done, it's so well written and directed by Edgar Wright, and it's so well acted by Simon Pegg and Nick Frost in particular. They're the standouts throughout the whole film. But they do such a good job, not just with the comedic parts of the story at the beginning, well, throughout, but in this beginning, but also the dramatic elements. They really sell, the dramatic parts of the film. And that's impressive for a comedic actor. It's hard to pull that stuff off. So I was really impressed. So the thing is that this was so well done, and I was so curious to see this story of these friends reunited for this pub crawl that I kind of wish the aliens didn't show up. And as the film progressed, when you think about it, the aliens didn't need to show up. It's almost like the alien element is there because this is part of this genre trilogy, and it's what the core fan base for this trio expects of them. And of course, it's easier to sell a movie with aliens in it. Although tell that to Richard Curtis, he seems to have done quite well with these comedies about life. So that's kind of, I feel like at the end of the day, I feel that I would have preferred this movie without the aliens in it, but the aliens didn't ruin it. It still was able to kind of tell that story anyway, and I had a good time. Also, but that said though, the alien special effects were done very well. It seemed very organic, very realistic. You would think that they were low budget effects, but sometimes they would do things that you were like, that can't have been cheap to do, especially because it looks like it's so natural. So I was impressed with that part of it. But when you think about this, that you could have removed aliens from the story and it would have been better. It makes me think a lot about Ant-Man that's coming up from Edgar Wright. And it's been gestating at Marvel for a very long time. And I heard there's amazing test footage. I kind of saw parts of it on the internet. It looked okay to me, where Ant-Man is like small, but then uses the momentum of growing to kick someone and use it to kick them very hard as he changes in size through the kick, which is a cool idea. But it really makes me feel, don't be surprised if when Ant-Man finally hits theaters, it's a light comedy with some action elements in it, because that's clearly where Edgar Wright shines. But he also does well with the drama. Despite what I might say about the aliens, I think let's not detract from the fact that as filmmakers and actors, Wright, Pegg, and Frost have really grown leaps and bounds since Shaun of the Dead. And while it's unlikely this film will be a huge box office hit because, I just don't think they have the fan base here and there isn't anything too new here to bring other people in. I hope that people in Hollywood see this, and I hope they see what this talent can do and how they're expanding their repertoire, and they give them something to do, something really great. Especially Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg really impressed me in this movie. But I had a good time, and I highly recommend you see it. And if you don't catch it in theaters, don't miss it again at home. See it at some point. I think it's definitely worth watching. So that's what I think of The World's End. Good fun, and definitely, especially if you're a fan of this group, you're really going to enjoy it. So that's my review. Thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying all the San Diego Comic-Con coverage that's been coming out this week as well. And I hope you'll check out some more right now.